Hi, I'm Emily Owaney and I lead Insights at Foursquare. Today I'm excited to talk to you about enhancing your competitive intelligence with geospatial data. Today we'll do a deep dive of how leading telcos are leveraging location data to derive rich consumer insights. We know that businesses lack visibility into what is taking place outside of their four walls, and in particular, how consumers are engaging with their competition. Location intelligence provides visibility into consumers' behavior, allowing analysts, business intelligence teams, and marketers to keep their finger on the pulse of the competitive landscape. Location technology then empowers businesses to uncover areas of opportunity and capitalize on behavioral trends. So today we'll talk through one, how key metrics you can use to track the competition with location intelligence, from market penetration to share of traffic, as well as industry trends to watch, including demographic shifts and changes in store dwell time, which can be especially relevant during times of economic downturn. And lastly, data-driven approaches to uncover hidden opportunities and capitalize on consumer behavior. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the telco industry to give you more tangible examples of the types of analyses that you can run in your competitive analysis with location intelligence. We'll take a look at real-world foot traffic patterns, and that will help carriers better understand the competitive landscape, align with shoppers' interests, and plan for the future. But before we dive in, I want to give you a high-level overview of how we derive these insights to define some of the key terms. So Foursquare is the leading geospatial technology platform for deeply understanding places and movement. Foursquare analyzes consumer behavior based on foot traffic data from millions of Americans that make up our always-on panel. And for the purpose of this analysis, all data is aggregated, normalized against US Census data to remove any age, gender, or geographical bias. So let's dive into our competitive analysis for the telco industry. According to Foursquare survey data, 3/4 of Americans do not plan to switch telco providers this year, which is good news for leading providers. Yet there is still opportunity for carriers to gain market share, with 8% of respondents likely to make the switch and another 17% of respondents still on the fence and impressionable if presented with the right reasons. The majority of survey respondents claim they would sign up for a new phone plan in person, likely due to the in-person support they would receive. Companies can leverage location data as a signal of customers' intentions to switch brand loyalty and build relevant messaging to steal market share. So why is location intelligence such a good indicator of consumers' brand loyalty, or lack thereof? Real-world foot traffic patterns serve as a powerful indicator of how consumers spend their time. Despite online shopping, customer support options, the brick-and-mortar store experience, is important to consumers. Even in the telco category, we've seen an increase in-store shopping year over year across major carriers. Businesses should consider using foot traffic to stores as a measure of brand health, monitoring overall penetration month over month and year over year. So, why are people visiting telco stores? On the next slide, we see that Foursquare survey data shows that the main reason for visiting a carrier last year was to take advantage of annual device upgrades. While a small percentage of customers visit to sign up for a new phone plan, around 10%, survey data suggests that customers are coming in most often for routine maintenance, such as device upgrades or in-person support. Businesses can leverage these learnings to inform media strategies, for example, heavying up during product releases to drive in-store visitation. For instance, both Apple and Google typically unveil their newest iPhone or Android models in September. Telecom brands could capitalize on these moments to capture customers during the start of the holiday shopping season. Next, location data shows that returning customers account for the vast majority of store visits. At the same time, it's worth noting that 7 to 8% of store traffic last year was coming from new customers, people who hadn't previously visited the respective carrier at all in 2022 or in 2021. This subset of new customers represents an opportunity for brands to deliver a positive in-store experience. Next, foot traffic patterns differ by carrier throughout the year. In the chart we're looking at here, we took a closer look at foot traffic to major telecom carriers versus the category overall throughout 2022. Location data reveals that while telecom carriers were seeing similar patterns overall in foot traffic, each carrier individually saw a distinguishable period of heightened visitation throughout the year. For example, T-Mobile/Sprint stores saw elevated visitation early on, around January, February, likely attributed to the final closing sales at Sprint venues as the merger between Sprint and T-Mobile was officially finalized in March. Verizon Wireless saw sustained levels of elevated foot traffic in early May through late June, and perhaps this was driven by gift giving for both Mother's Day as well as graduation season. Lastly, AT&T saw a noteworthy boost in late September throughout early October, following the latest product releases from both Apple and Google. We also saw that AT&T saw the biggest uptick in holiday traffic compared to any other carrier, which resulted in a 27% increase on December 23rd. By monitoring these changes in foot traffic to stores over time, businesses can actively keep tabs on brand health and leverage learnings to help contextualize brand performance. Here, rather than lift and decline in traffic, we looked at telecom carriers' share of category foot traffic. Foursquare data shows shifting patterns in share of category visitation for top players, including AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile/Sprint. T-Mobile/Sprint stores consistently saw the highest share of category traffic throughout 2022, especially in the first few months of the year, which was around 27 to 28% share from January through April. We saw a shift in category share occur between April to May, with T-Mobile and Sprint stores dropping by a few percentage points, while AT&T and Verizon both gained share around that time. These learnings can help telecom carriers keep tabs on the competitive landscape and capitalize on changes in real time. Another key metric to consider is dwell time in stores. Our data shows that telecom customers were spending more time in carrier stores last year. Verizon Wireless saw the highest median dwell time amongst in-store shoppers last year compared to any other competitor. Similarly, AT&T and T-Mobile/Sprint were also seeing slightly longer dwell time in 2022 compared to 2021. Though a majority of visits lasted under 15 minutes, they're getting longer year over year. With a higher percentage of Americans visiting carrier stores overall, increased dwell time is likely reflective of longer wait times for customers seeking in-store support. Businesses can leverage location intelligence, such as dwell time, to understand consumers' in-store experience in your locations versus your competitors. When it comes to the competitive analysis, the key insight that you're looking to understand is market share. And an important way of thinking about that when it comes to location intelligence is around customer loyalty and cross-shopping. In the telco industry in particular, we can look at the percentage of customers who are visiting carriers' locations who are current customers versus those who are not current customers. Our data shows that across all three carriers, at least 45% of in-store traffic last year was coming from people who were not customers during the time of their visit, presenting a viable opportunity for carriers to capitalize on consumer intent with enticing deals and options to inspire that switch in the moment. While existing customers accounted for the majority of visitors for T-Mobile, Sprint, and Verizon in 2022, AT&T saw a much higher percentage of traffic, around 57%, from non-AT&T customers. This could mean that AT&T is attracting a sizable percentage of competitors' current customers, likely people who are looking to evaluate their options and potentially make that switch. Beyond understanding whether your store visitors are existing customers, you can use location to better understand cross-shopping. For telco in particular, Foursquare helps major telecom carriers identify the top carriers of their store visitors. For both T-Mobile, Sprint, and Verizon, the majority of total traffic came from their respective existing customers. As we learned from the previous slide, AT&T saw almost 50% store visits from non-customers in 2022. Here, we can actually see the breakdown of carriers within that audience. T-Mobile Sprint customers accounted for 26% of AT&T store traffic, and Verizon customers accounted for another 22%. Across all three players, less than 12% of store traffic is coming from other customers. This data can provide insight to assist brands in acquiring prospective customers most likely to defect from competing carriers. Now that we've looked at industry trends overall, let's take a closer look at how you might analyze one specific competitor, in this case, Verizon Wireless. Location data can show us demographics of store visitors. For example, we saw that female shoppers were responsible for an even higher share of store traffic, around 50% in 2022, up from 46% in 2021. When it comes to competitive conquesting, Verizon should consider honing in on this female audience as they're seeing more than their fair share of visits from female shoppers throughout the year. At the same time, this data presents an opportunity for Verizon to drive visitation amongst female shoppers. Beyond looking at share of visits, we are looking at the fair share index below, which uncovers that Verizon stores saw even more traffic than expected of that female shopper audience in 2022 relative to other businesses, and even more so than we saw in 2021. Next, we can look at share of visits by age. For example, Verizon shoppers ages 35 to 54 accounted for the majority share of total foot traffic last year, while only 1/4 of store visits were from people over the age of 55. Yet compared to other places of interest, Verizon only saw 2 to 5% more traffic than expected from middle-aged shoppers, while interestingly, older Verizon shoppers ages 55 and above over-indexed the most. Verizon is seeing 13% more traffic than expected of people ages 55 and above compared to other businesses, presenting an opportunity to create and maintain brand loyalty amongst this older cohort of in-store shoppers. Beyond quantitative metrics, location intelligence also offers insight into the mindset and lifestyle of these store visitors, and perhaps more important, your competitors' visitors. For example, here we see the types of people Verizon is attracting. They're interested in road trips, dining out, home decor and renovations, as well as weekend activities. Location data is also a powerful indicator of the consumer journey to your store. Here we can see where people are going before and after visiting a Verizon store and what that says about them, further expanding on what we learned of the audience's affinities from the previous slide. By summarizing key learnings across all these different analyses, we can start to identify key differentiators by brand. Here's an example of the type of takeaways that you might derive from your competitive analysis using location intelligence. So now let's talk about how you can actually tap into the data yourselves and action on it. First, you'll want to think about how you're uncovering these types of insights yourself. With Foursquare Studio, you can analyze and visualize large-scale geospatial data faster than ever before. This tool can be used for competitive analyses as well as other key use cases such as supply chain management, trade area analysis, as well as site selection. Next, you might want to action based on opportunities you've uncovered via advertising. Foursquare's targeting solutions allow you to reach new customers and align with the right moments, activating anywhere you buy media. Audience enables you to build highly customized, scalable audiences based on real-world consumer behavior in terms of what we learned today, while proximity helps you build accurate, custom geofences to reach consumers in geocontextual real-time moments. Once you've run data-driven marketing campaigns, you'll want to make sure that you are using accurate, high-quality data to measure and optimize performance. Foursquare Attribution can help you quantify the impact of your media with one omnichannel, always-on dashboard that can measure your spend across hundreds of partners. Stepping back from marketing, you may also be wondering, how can you use location intelligence to inform your business decisions more broadly? Foursquare Places is a powerful tool to guide smarter strategic decisions. By analyzing fresh, up-to-date POI data, you can keep your finger on the pulse of the competitive landscape, monitoring which competitors are opening stores or closing locations, and where this market saturation is versus where there might be white space. This ultimately enables you to make smarter decisions, such as fostering demand, planning inventory, and selecting new sites to set up shop. So with that, thank you for joining, and I'll now open it up for a couple questions. So the first question we just got, what insights is this analysis unique, or what insights in this analysis are unique to telco, and what can be applied for retailers more broadly? It's a great question. So the one thing that is really unique to telco is the ability to detect the carrier or device that a consumer is currently using. So this gives you a more definitive look into things like cross-shopping, which can serve as an indicator of when someone is considering to switch brand loyalty. In retail more broadly, we can pull a similar type of insight by looking at someone's past shopping behavior. For example, are they a frequent TJ Maxx visitor who is now visiting a Kohl's for the first time? Great question. Another question we have here, where does Foursquare get its data from, and is it all from people using the consumer app? So we are definitely proud of our consumer app origin, but we've evolved over the past 14 years to become the leading geospatial technology platform. So we saw an opportunity for other businesses to benefit from our unique technology, and that's why we decided to think bigger. So today, our tech stack helps businesses use location to make more informed decisions and ultimately drive success. This means that our understanding of movement comes not only from our own users, but also our other apps that are using unique technology. And Foursquare only works with location data that is obtained with explicit consumer consent. And I'd add that once consumers opt in, Foursquare has strict processes and policies in place to protect people's privacy, as well as our customers and partners. And we've embedded privacy protecting features, and put privacy at the front end of everything that we do. And with that, I think we're done with questions. So thanks again, everyone.